Yeah, how's it going today? Is 6th of November, Wednesday, and we're gonna be taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities we can find. In today's video, let's take a look at four different articles. We might read entire articles, but it might be lengthy and they might go off the subject, all those kind of things, but I haven't read it yet. But anyway, first article we can take a look at that would be something that will be published today. So most of the articles most likely going to be published today. It's just something I would like to review. The last article that would be UK's industrial strategy, something I'm interested in reviewing. Most likely it's something that was published a month ago. But anyway, first one that would be media merger lost to modernize for the digital age. I don't know. We were taking a look at, I think it was yesterday, when it comes to media and when it comes to licensing companies and the way how some of that media would be presented. Most likely, as I mentioned, more than likely it would go. A lot of media organizations would go off the subject, and they do all kind of things, right? So perhaps it's worth reviewing how some of those organizations would be licensed. I believe, but anyway, I think they might be focusing on mergers, right? Let's take a look at what this article is in regards to. Right? The proposal will extend power to call in media mergers to online news sites to new magazines. Sure, the move builds upon existing powers which already apply in relation to television, radio, and certain print newspapers. How unprofitable some of those companies can be, and some of those business might be interested in selling off their services, since there might be a lot of shift happening in policies. And when it comes to selling off some of those organizations, who would buy those, and how and what they might be interested in doing. But anyway, there might be for what's to come in the next 6 months or so, right? I don't know, it's worth reading entire article. It might be a waste of time, and rather let's be more productive. Media and so-called narratives. It's I believe it's waste of everyone's time for people to have some sense of what's really happening and what kind of where media companies not presenting facts and data. I mean, the media channels sometimes can present different narratives, and for whatever reason, those narratives might be for sale for people who are interested in buying, and government might be interested in overseeing more of sales process. Anyway, let's progress. Next article, we're going to be taking a look at ensuring trust in AI to unlock 6.5 billion over the next decade. If there will be companies and who some of those projects might be. As of now, I'm not interested in promoting any of those projects, right? And other than there might be some opportunities in the sector, but again, this market is still new, right? That would be a case market for ensuring trustworthy AI systems is supposed to grow sixfold over the next decade. I'm not supporting any of these. I don't think it's a good investment. I'm not supporting any of that, right? Just to make it clear, because I'm reading it, I'm not supporting any of these statements, right? CK has also signed a SAFE agreement with Singapore. Again, I'm not supporting anything, but it's just some of the articles that was published, so I'll touch on it. There might be some opportunities, but I don't know. I don't know. Let's progress. Some of those projects, prices, all those kind of things. I don't know. I don't know. Let's progress. Let's take a look at the other article, right? Let's take a look at this article. That will be press release investors, developers, and local and or national government leaders unite to drive forward ambition to create 1.5 million homes across this parliament. Last time I was taking a look at, I think it was 33,000 houses that was built. But again, that's information that I managed to find. I don't know how accurate that information is. So there's a problem, and the government needs to do something about this in order to achieve its targets. And that's where the leaders from over 375 institutions meet with the aim to create new partnerships to increase scale of housing and all regeneration across England. That could be important, and perhaps when it comes to pension funds, right? There's a lot of pension funds in Canada, so there's might be a lot of pensions in Australia. There might be a lot of pensions even in UK, and perhaps the way to source finances. If finances is a problem with their skills, perhaps they should consider where to source more skills when it comes to achieving this target, right? Entire article is not long, so it's perhaps read it entire article. That will be over 375 leaders from domestic and international institutions, or institutional investors, developers, house builders, regeneration specialists, housing associations, and all combined, and all local authorities meet in London. Or they have met yesterday, so it was 2 days ago. With the aim to create new partnerships that will significantly increase the scale of housing and urban regeneration that is needed across England. The event is part of the Minister of Housing. Okay, let's skip that. Discussion held yesterday paved the way for more detailed dialogue and all collaboration actions that aim to deliver a housing and origination ambition set out by the government, right? We had review entire plan when it comes to building that many houses and the structure, how it could be achieved, and where the obstacles are, and perhaps, if anything, this article is more about the government and what government can do better. Since government most likely is slowing down and stopping things when it comes to this process, and government is looking for this dialogue where there would be a lot of feedback what government could do better when it comes to achieving this goal. It's something that was mentioned that most likely government won't be able to achieve it. Most likely it won't. So most likely this dialogue is more for government to understand what government should do differently to achieve its targets. I believe. This is what it's all about. Anyway, let's progress. Let's take a look at what I believe would be very important when it comes to industrial strategy, right? Let's take a look at something that was published some time ago, but I thought it might be worth revisiting and to understand a little bit better when it comes to industry, and perhaps there might be need for employment and for various opportunities as well as investment. So there might be more jobs and prosperity, right? Industrial strategy launched on hardware stability for investors. We might have read it already, but I thought it might be worth revisiting, right? Government launches modern industrial strategy and new advisory council ahead of the International Investment Summit. I believe we might have read it already, but I thought it might be worth revisiting, and that should be today's focus. Perhaps I would do that off camera while I would review entire strategy. I just don't want to repeat it. Where I'm going to be focusing on entire strategy and engaging with some of the so-called, I think it's stakeholders when it comes to initiatives, and proposing perhaps some of these initiatives to the government, and we will see where those stoppages might be when it comes to coming in or developing some of those projects. Would that be finances? Would that be skills? If there would be some of the leadership, which might be very busy, all those kind of things, right? But industrial strategy is today's focus, I guess. Thanks for watching. See you next one.